Hey guys, Sethley here back with another Apex Legends video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. In today's video, we have a pretty big one. We have the Season 6 full patch notes that I'm going to be going over in this video, covering everything that has changed. But I did want to let you guys know, officially Season 6 has not come out yet. Technically, it comes out at 10 p.m. PST tonight, so a bit of a different time. So be ready for that. They also did just release the new dev stream earlier today. They just released it, so if you guys want to see that, make sure to check it out. But I'm just going to go ahead and hop into the patch notes since I know this is what you guys care about. Starting off with the map update, World's Edge update. So if you guys want to see all of the new points of interest, make sure to see my last video that I made. I covered everything that has changed, but they said Hammond Robotics continues to take over World's Edge. They're up to something nefarious. They have taken steps to upgrade World's Edge with changes to dome, drill site, and other points of interest. But now onto the new legend Rampart. I'll show her on screen right now. Ramya Parekh is a 21-year-old British Indian blue-collar private business owner who just needs a big gun and a backpack full of scrap metal to get by in the dangerous Wild West world of the Outlands. Parekh brings her modded shields and a knowledge of heavy weapons such as Sheila. Well, that's what she calls her minigun. Her passive is called Modded Loader. Rampart has increased magazine capacity and faster reloads when using LMGs and the minigun. Modded Loader also increases the amount of shots before overheating occurs and improves cooling when using the L-Star, which is actually pretty nice. Now onto her tactical, which is amped cover. She builds a crouch cover wall, which deploys a full cover amped wall that blocks incoming shots and amps outgoing shots. A max of 5 amped walls can be deployed at a time. So that's 5. That's quite a bit. But now onto her ultimate, which is called the Emplaced Minigun Sheila. Rampart places a mounted machine gun that can be used by anyone with high ammo capacity and a long reload time. A max of 3 miniguns can be deployed at a time. So that is quite a bit of miniguns, but that's pretty much it for Rampart. Now onto the new weapon, the Volt SMG. I'll show it on screen right now for you guys. And the first energy-based SMG to see regular use in the Frontier is the Volt. It allows its operator to fire a salvo of energy-based ammunition, decreasing drag and making it possible to hit multiple targets within a short window, which sounds really interesting. I'm excited to use that new weapon. But now onto the crafting system, which looks like it's going to play a really big part in the meta of Season 6. I'll show what it looks like on screen right now for you guys, and then they go on to describe it by saying, we all know the RNG gods are not always in your favor, but with Season 6 we are introducing a crafting system. Find materials throughout the map via loot bins or material stations, then take these to a replicator. In the replicator you'll find 8 different pieces of loot that you can craft. If you have enough materials, some of these loot rotates on a weekly or daily basis, but you'll always be able to see what's currently craftable in the game mode selector on the map screen. So that's really exciting. It's going to be a really big change for the game, but I'm excited to see what happens. But now onto the armor meta. They said they have made some changes. They say with Season 6 we're introducing some big changes to the way armor works in game. First off, all armor in the game is Evo armor except for gold armor, which is absolutely huge. So when you find a white, blue, or purple armor on the ground, it's a pre-leveled Evo armor. It can be picked up like normal and continued to be evolved. However, red armor is not in the ground loot and can only be achieved through evolving. Gold armor is not a part of the Evo armor track and is only found in rare locations as usual. Another interesting change is that players spawn with level 0 Evo armor. If you get in gunfights right away and do enough damage, you will automatically level up into a white armor and you can continue to take all that way to red. We think this will really help with loot availability in early game without requiring players to drop hot when they don't want to. With all the changes in Season 6, players now have the opportunity to level up their shields through damage, luck in ground loot, or through crafting. The last big difference is that all armor is coming down by 25 health. This means players with purple and gold armor only have 175 health and not 200. Red armor now gives you 200 instead of 225, which is pretty crazy. So I'll show the new damage requirements for the Evos on screen right now. Not too much damage to get to that red, so it does look like that will be the strategy. But now onto hollow sprays. I'll show what they look like on screen, and they're a new way to emote in the arena. By using the emote wheel, you can throw down these legend specific calling cards to taunt bested enemies or warn future challengers that you're not to be messed with. But now on on to the battle pass, there are quite a lot of really cool skins. I'll show them on screen right now for you, and they say this season's battle pass includes the reactive supersonic G7, Bloodhound Road Warrior, 5 new holo sprays, new skydive emotes, weapon charms, and more. So it is looking like a nice battle pass. But now on to the quest. So they say follow the story from the season 5 quest now in full color illustrated comics. Collect treasure packs daily to earn your rewards, including crafting medals, challenge points, apex packs, and a whole new suit of gun charms. So it looks like they're going to be doing the season 6 quests a bit different, but instead this time it will be with illustrated comics. I'm excited to see what that looks like. But now on to the big changes I'm sure you guys care about, which is the legend changes. Starting off with the recon class, which includes Bloodhound, Crypto, and Pathfinder. So now all recon legends can now use survey beacons to get the next ring location. Crypto can use his drone to instantly get this information as well. So that is no longer the Pathfinder passive. So that is pretty interesting. Every recon class, Bloodhound, Crypto, and Pathfinder can now use survey beacons. Now onto Pathfinder. So for some context, they say giving all recon legends access to survey beacons makes Pathfinder less unique, and obviously they don't love that. For now, they're giving their friendly robot a small buff to his ultimate cooldown when he uses a survey beacon. But in the future, they will take another look at Pathfinder to see what else they could do to make him feel more unique. So now his passive is where each time Pathfinder scans a survey beacon, the total cooldown of zipline gun is reduced. So it really doesn't seem like enough of a buff, in my opinion, to counteract the fact that also Bloodhound and Crypto have the same passive pretty much now. They did change Pathfinder so he has less cooldown on his ultimate when he uses the survey beacons, but I think they could do some more to him. We'll just have to wait and see. But now onto the numbers. They also made so the zipline gun cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds each time Pathfinder scans a beacon, up to 6 rings per game, meaning the total cooldown of zipline gun can go from 120 seconds to 60 seconds, which honestly isn't that bad. But now on to Bloodhound. They actually made some changes to Bloodhound. So now for the Beast of Hunt, you gain even more duration when Bloodhound scores a knockdown or kill with the ultimate about to run out. Now onto the Eye of the Allfather. During the Beast of the Hunt, Eye of the Allfather now comes out twice as fast and has a much shorter cooldown. So the Beast of the Hunt duration extension is between 5 seconds and 15 seconds based on remaining duration. And the Eye of the Allfather cooldown during Beast of the Hunt is now 6 seconds instead of 25 seconds. And the Eye of the Allfather total use during Beast of the Hunt is now 0.9 seconds instead of 1.8 seconds. Now onto the changes they have made to Crypto. So first off, with his surveillance drone, Crypto can now activate respawn and survey beacons from his drone. Doing so is instant instead of requiring a prolonged use. They also made it so the surveillance drone is slightly more consistent to hit, but also doubled its hit points. So the drone EMP also was changed. The EMP will now slow teammates caught in the blast even if they have no shields. This means that players who have used Revenant's death totem will also be slowed. So the surveillance drone now has 60 HP instead of 30 HP, and the hitbox size was increased from 16 to 24. Now onto the changes for the other legends. Starting out with Revenant, they changed his death totem. So now for 2 seconds after being recalled by the death totem, players cannot use Wraith's dimensional shift. So you cannot immediately use Wraith's ability after the death totem for 2 seconds. Now onto the change for Octane. It is for his stim, so he can now use his stim while healing, but the stim will not remove the slow you incur from healing. So you'll still move slower, you can just now use the stim to make you go a bit faster. Now onto the change they made for Loba, which is her black market. They lowered the cooldown from 3 minutes to 90 seconds, which is a pretty big buff for Loba. Now onto Gibraltar with his defensive bombardment. They increased the cooldown from 3 minutes to 4.5 minutes, which is a pretty big nerf if I do say so myself. But finally we got a change for Bangalore. Now her Rolling Thunder was decreased from 4.5 minute cooldown to 3 minutes. So that's actually a pretty big decrease in Bangalore's ultimate cooldown, which I'm excited for. And lastly, onto Watson for her interception pylon. The trophy system will now shoot down caustic barrels in flight if they would have landed inside the range of the trophy, which does make sense. Now onto the loot. They added back extended energy mags and the turbocharger hop up. So they also updated the precision choke. They removed the precision choke entirely from the loot pool, but it will now be integrated into the triple take and peacekeeper by default. default. You can also still turn it on and off, which is pretty interesting. So now the precision choke is no longer an attachment, it is just automatically on the triple take and Peacekeeper, which I think is very much needed. Now they made a change to the R-99. It's actually a supply drop weapon now. So the damage was increased from 11 to 12, as well as they increased the magazine size to 32, and there's 160 ammo reserve when you do get that legendary R-99, which I'm pretty excited to see how it works as a legendary weapon. But they did have to replace it with something else. So now the devotion is normal loot. However, they did reduce the original clip size back to its values of 36, 40, 44, and 48. Now onto the new fully kitted weapon swaps. So they added in fully kitted weapons, including the devotion, mastiff, triple take, flatline, and volt. Next, we do have some changes to the loot. So sniper ammo has been increased from 8 to 12, as well as the stack size is now 24 instead of 16, and energy ammo reduced from 30 to 20. So now stacks of energy ammo is only 20 instead of 30. So it's going to be harder to find ammo for that Volt SMG, but they did make some more changes to other weapons. Starting out with the Hemlock, they reduced the vertical recoil in burst mode. They slightly reduced the recoil in pattern on second and third shot, so the first burst kicks less, and they made it so the burst mode time between bursts is now 0.28 instead of 0.32. Next, they made a change to the charge rifle. It now uses 2 ammo per shot, and they increased the magazine size from 4 to 8. And now onto the triple take, which they buffed. They increased the fire rate from 1.25 to 1.4, and they increased the mag size from 5.678 to 6.789. They also made it so the choke is built into the weapon by default, which is obviously very needed. Now onto the Spitfire, which they did have a buff for. They improved the recoil controllability, so the recoil is going to be easier to control. Now onto the Havoc, they did make the Havoc have a new recoil pattern. They said the Havoc's existing recoil pattern had constant horizontal movement, and this means it would either be too difficult to control, or there was too much recoil, or far easy to control with too little recoil. So updating to a new pattern, which is more consistent in style and existing recoil pattern. So it just has a new pattern of recoil. Now onto the Mozambique, they did give it a slight buff. They increased the clip size from 3 to 4, as well as they changed the P2020. They increased the damage from 13 to 15, as well as they decreased the hammer point damage multiplier from 2.7 to 2.35. Now this will leave hammer point P2020 damage unchanged in most scenarios, but they did also increase the mag size from 10, 13, 15, 18 to 12, 14, 16, 18, which is slightly a buff to the P2020. Now onto the Sentinel. They made it so the Sentinel only requires 1 shield cell to charge if the player has gold armor, which does make quite a bit of sense. It'll make that Sentinel more useful. But lastly, they did make a change to the Prowler. They slightly reduced the vertical recoil in burst mode, as well as they increased the horizontal recoil in auto mode. So it kind of evens out. It's not really a buff, or it's not really a nerf. It's kind of even now. I'd say that is a decent change though. But now onto the quality of life. They made some changes, so supply drop weapons are now heirloom tier, making them red. So this is to avoid confusion with fully kitted weapons, which will remain gold. I think that makes sense. But also World's Edge received performance improvements, especially around the tree, the dome, and skyhook, looking towards the center of map, which I think is good. And lastly, for quality of life, alterations were made to the ring to prevent late zones from centering on unplayable terrain and reduce the predictability of the zone's pull. Lastly, there are some bug fixes, but there are a lot, so I'll show those on screen for you guys. And that's everything for the Season 6 patch notes. There was quite a bit, but make sure to let me know what you guys think about all of these changes down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. But it's been your boy Safely, and I'm out.